We're good. We're live. All right. So
We're live.
Get your notification up. Get
All
it
right.
up.
Hello, Facebook. Come on, Facebook. Tell me that my account's live. Damo, how are you, mate?
Great. Thank you, PC. Great.
And
thank
a
you. Here we
very
go.
unofficial welcome before we hit record to the wonderful Bianca Adkins. Hello, Bianca.
Hello, how you going?
We're good. And everyone that's joining us, you're about to be inspired. Could even be a couple of tears on today's episode. This is going to be one of those unforgettable interviews, I feel. So we look forward to this. Now, Bianca, I don't want to do this in the recording because it almost sounds a bit self-indulgent.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't asked you this, but I'm always curious because podcasts are like radio. You feel like you get to know people over the years. You said in an email that you've listened to 100 Not Out for quite some time. One, is that true? And
100%.
two, how did you hear about 100 Not Out and how do you consume it?
Oh, how did I hear about it? I think possibly back in my old career, I was a Thermomix consultant and at health and wellness, and I guess I think that's how it possibly came about. And then, it was just my favourite Monday morning pastime.
So nice.
And just
So nice.
Absolutely keen as to go to Iceni with you guys. It's always been on my bucket list, and
that's what I was thinking about that email for you, Damo.
Yes.
I didn't weave into the questions. Ikaria.
Didn't tell me that.
That's it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. All right.
Well, we look forward to going to Ikaria too.
I know.
Yes.
Oh, gee whiz, this is going to play on the heartstrings. I can already feel it. Okay. All right. So, Damo, my call recorder won't work because it's telling me I've got to reinstall Skype and we're already in here. So, I know Facebook will record this, but can you record this as well?
Yeah, mine's recording too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then can you just share it with me later?
Yeah, we'll just need to trim it, obviously. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no worries. Okay, we're ready to rock?
Yeah. Did we say hi to Wendy and Julie?
Hi, Wendy. Hi, Julie.
Yeah.
I just want you to get to your meeting, and I know we've all got things, and I really want to get into this. Yep. All right, here we go.
All right,
here we go.
let's
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, and 1. Hello and welcome to 100 Not Out, a weekly show dedicated to helping you master the art of aging well. My name is Marcus Pearce, and as always, I get to shoot down to Melbourne, to the country's #1 wellness expert, and still I cannot work out why he has not been allowed to go down the big slide at the Freeze MND at the MCG on Queen's birthday. I think he'll be in Freeze MND 8. Dr. Damien Christoph, hello, great man.
Hello, great man. I don't know if that'll be the case. It's really generally only people that are famous that get to do that sort of thing, and I'm not that. But I'm so grateful to actually have got this beanie on today because it actually bears real and true relevance. Because you know what's interesting about this beanie, PC, is I've been buying them. Maybe I missed out on the first one. I like to get on trends early. Like I like to get the first one of everything. I've been a Melbourne Stars member for 11 years now, all that sort of stuff. But then MND, you buy them and thinking, oh yeah, who's this really impacting? But then now we've got a real life story, and the beanie feels better. I actually commented this year that this is the best feeling beanie that they've ever made, but it actually feels even better now that we're about to have this conversation today. So, Bianca, it's great to have you on, I have to say.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Let's give a very warm welcome to a very special guest today. I want to paint a little picture for everyone watching and listening to this episode. If you cast your mind back to 2020, February 29, for most of us, our life was probably still the same, maybe just on the edge of changing forever. But I want to take you into the lives of Bianca and Maddie Adkins and their 2 children, Frankie and Banjo, because their life was about to change forever. At the age of 39, Maddie Adkins was diagnosed with motor neurone disease, and life's plans and big dreams for the Adkins family were no doubt instantly altered, but not in the way that we might think. Whilst much of society paints a story of misery for those with MND, Bianca and Maddie and the kids are unapologetically happier than they've ever been. And the natural question that many of us would ask is how and why? And in the words of the Adkins family, when life gives you lemons, you better start making lemonade. And they are doing it with an urgency that is absolutely inspiring. It's a message that we want to hear more about. It's a message that we want to share with our 100 Not Out community. The Lemonade Crew, as Bianca and the Adkins family have set up, are sharing this inspirational message. To find out how the Adkins family are making lemonade, it is a very warm welcome as we shoot down to Port Macquarie to the matriarch of the Lemonade Crew and the Adkins family. Bianca, welcome to the podcast.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
Bianca, aren't they the greatest introductions of all time?
They are the best. I wonder if he's got it written down each week.
I do, absolutely. I've been scripted in TV and radio, and I'm very anti a non-script.
Yeah, he's so good. So good at it.
So good.
Yeah, It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Well, yes, and welcome to 100 Not Out. It is great to have you here, Bianca. And thanks for reaching out, because we do get people that reach out and ask questions, can I be on your show? And we very rarely bring people onto the show, because it's not, often people's reason for coming to the show is not to share a story, it's to sell a product or something, and that's not what we're about. We're about sharing stories, and so this is a great story. But Bianca, just to get us going, do you reckon you could take us back to that day, February 29 in 2020, or maybe even the events just leading up to Maddie's diagnosis, so we can kind of go through with you what maybe some of the clues were presenting themselves for you guys, in the previous 12 months or so in the lead up to, that fateful day?
For sure, yeah. So I guess I think, that particular day, I guess, stands out in a different way to what most people would think, because we kind of already knew that that's what the outcome was going to be. I think we'd kind of resorted to the fact that we'd explored everything else, and we just both knew, like, it was a really funny feeling. So originally he was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and his symptoms were just weakness. So Maddie was a plumber. He's super fit and strong. There's no possible way I could have imagined that this would have happened. So we kind of went through the process of seeing neurologists and doing all of that, and MND came up a few times, and in my head I was like, oh gosh, I don't know enough about it, but I know that it's a really bad one, but let's just focus and see what we can do. So that particular day we're down Newcastle. We'd spent the day prior having tests, and we woke up that morning and we went for a swim, and I think we just were ready for it. And it was funny because when the neurologist actually said it to him, he sort of, grabbed Matt on the leg and said, mate, this is not good. I don't know how to say this. And we just both looked at each other and we're like, you know what, we've got this. We've so got this. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what it means. Could be really naive, but we both just went, right, we're going to tackle this head on. And that's just how it started. And I guess a lot of people are shocked to hear that, because and even I remember the neurologist at the time saying, you guys seem really, I don't know if you're in shock or what's going on, but yeah, we were just ready to tackle whatever was ahead of us.
I'm really curious, Bianca, because when you first reach out and you sent this heartfelt email, and it was actually just you wanted to buy 10 of my books, because it was almost like you felt, guilty is not the right word. I'm trying to find the right words that you used, but you've been receiving so much love and support from your community that you actually want to give back. So you wanted some books.
It's really hard to receive, when I guess Maddie and I have always done things for other people, and it's just who we are. And when it started to come back to us, we didn't really cope very well with it. And it just came back in truckloads of overwhelming, incredible support and love in the most incredible ways that we could never have imagined. And the hug that you can get from a community is the warmest hug you'll ever receive. So it was kind of like, what can we do in little ways? And what we do is anonymous. We don't tell people we're doing it, but it just gives a bit more balance. I think I said yin and yang to you about,
exactly what you said.
It just makes us feel that it's a bit more balanced for us, I guess.
So what I would love to know is, when you sent me the email and you spoke about Maddie being diagnosed at 39, I was 39 at the time, now 40. You've got 2 kids. We've got 4 kids. You've got, your kids are 8 and 11. Ours are 8 and 11 and 2 and 5. So very similar phase of life. I'm thinking about our family in the next decade, and we're moving into a new home in a couple of months, and we've got all this stuff happening, and it's this very full growth phase. I was almost in tears when I read your email, because I was like, I can't imagine what would feel like life coming to a complete standstill at that phase of life. It's a harvesting time of life. How in God's name do you actually process that time? It continues to blow my mind when I think about it.
And I think it seems to be the people that are around our age that get really touched by it, because they're like, you know what, this could definitely happen to anyone. Matty quit his job. I kept working for a bit. We bought a motorhome. We started traveling. And I could probably say that those first probably 6 months were the hardest, because we just didn't know what was happening and our heads were spinning. And I guess the main thing that kept going on in my head was that I don't like the fact that when, no one does, but when you're faced with a terminal illness, they take everything away from you, and that means they take the hope away too. So that was one thing that we just kept going, you know what, this can't be, there can't be no other option, we're just not going to accept that. It's just not how it is. So I think when someone says to you, like, there's just nothing, you just need to go away and live your life, it's like, yeah, well, we've always lived big, we've always traveled, we've always, got heaps of family, friends, and always had a great life. We weren't just going to stop that. So it was basically like, how do we adjust now? Everything's changed. And I guess my biggest concern were obviously the children and how they would cope with it. So that's, initially we both just went, I don't know what we're going to do here. And I think that's where the Lemonade Crew was born, because it was like, how can we put a positive spin on this that's sort of realistic? And, it happened to be that the word lemonade actually has MND right in the middle of it. So I was like, okay, sort of playing with words. And
does too.
So we kind of went through that process, and I just thought we just have to educate everyone. So that was Matt's first initial reaction, was like, everyone needs to know about MND. He's like, I didn't know about it. So many of our friends and family didn't know about it. So I guess kind of normalizing it, that would help the kids, like they kind of, other people know, and it's not as scary. And so, we sort of traveled for a while, and then it got to the point where Maddie deteriorated so quick that we had to sell the van and come home. So life's been a lot quieter in the fact that we feel like we're kind of always in lockdown, because this is where we spend most of our days. But we just could not be happier and could not be more proud of the children and how they've embraced it. And I remember when initially he was diagnosed, and I had this analogy in my head of, like when you're on an airplane and if there's a bit of turbulence or something doesn't feel quite right, the first thing you do is look at the air hostess to see what her face is doing and see what's going to happen. And I was like, you know what, I'm the air hostess, and I just need to keep handing out peanuts and smiling and just keep things real and normal. And that's what I've done for the last, year and a half. And in amongst all of that craziness, Matt has deteriorated a lot. And the thing is, it's like the worse he got, I know this sounds insane, but the happier we got, and we just started to find the most simple things, and the bigger the hope become. And then we started to research, and we found over in the US there's a site that actually has cases of people that have healed ALS, and it's like, you know what, this is real, we could do this, and why can't Matt be that person? And it was kind of like this gift that came to us that went, you know what, regardless of whether it happens or not, like, why not live like that? It's a choice that we've got to choose, that we choose life, and we choose to do anything possible that we can to help Maddie along the way. Also, encouraging people to learn about MND and live their best life. So it's kind of, again, putting that yin and yang, so you've got the balance, if that makes sense.
It does. I've got so many things that just pop into my mind as you talk about all that, Bianca. One, I kind of go, if I look at the flight attendant and we've just gone through turbulence, I wonder if she's just putting on a brave face. And so that I go, are you putting on a brave face, Bianca? And then you say you couldn't be happier as Maddie's condition deteriorates. And I think to myself, oh my God, like that feels to me that we kind of get closer. Then I hear you talk about what's happening over in the US, and then I think, oh, well, I'd love to share with you about the people that I know in Newcastle that could probably help you guys in that same space, right? So I go, we'll have another chat, I think, Bianca. But,
absolutely.
I too know of those miracles where people have, been saved from ALS, and it's, it does give you hope, and I work with some of those patients too, and so I get that. So and I'm filled with joy that you guys see the joy in this. But I can't help but think, do you, even though you have this overwhelming sense of happiness that that comes up for you because you reflect on the happy things and you look at the joy in life, is there an element of grief that you still do go through when your world changes so rapidly like this? And yes, it's gone on now for a fair bit of time, and it could continue to go on for a fair bit more time longer. Like, does the happiness run out, or do you feel yourself you've got to pull yourself back into happiness, or do you ever get back into grief or stinking thinking? What happens there?
No stinking thinking. It's you have moments, absolutely, and days where you're like, oh gosh, where's the lemonade? Yes. I think you go through the grief absolutely straight away. Like, I think it just feels like everything's just been torn away from you, and you just, especially for Matt being such a physically strong person, and then it's just watching him deteriorate so quick. I think that was awful, and there was so much grief attached to that. And every now and then the kids will say to me, especially Frankie, the youngest one, she'll say, I can't remember when Dad used to walk. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, and you get these like heart churning moments where you're like, yeah, that hit home. And I'm like, okay, let's sit down and watch some videos like of what we used to do. And we go through all of that. But I just keep thinking that like anyone's life could change. Like tomorrow's not promised to anyone. So every day we get up and this is it. We're doing it today. We're not doing it tomorrow. We're doing it today. So it's what's today look like? And, at any point, anything could change. So we just don't let our heads go there. It's like, don't think too far ahead, because whatever happens in the future, we've got plenty of time to deal with that. But right now, this is where we're focusing, and it has to be as positive as it can. And I can honestly say that, like Matt and I just sit there and just shake our head and just go like, this is so good. We are so lucky. We are so blessed. We live in such a beautiful home with such beautiful people, and to experience what we've experienced with the support we've had. A lot of people don't get that in life, and a lot of people die suddenly, and they don't know how many people love them and how many people support them. And so there's such a humble, beautiful feeling knowing that we are so loved and we've got so much support, and and there is so much hope there around us. So
great.
So I'd love to dig into this if you're happy for us too, Bianca, because I think the devil's in the detail, and God is in the detail. So if from a practical perspective, because most people in life are not going to go through the type of challenge that you are going through right now. So I often talk about create before you consume. So when you wake up in the morning, you don't have to read the newspaper. You don't have to listen to the radio. You don't have to, switch on the TV. You can walk outside and look at the beautiful trees and the birds and live your life. You are not a victim to news or outside influence. And you've said here, and I quote from one of your blogs, the most crazy thing I could tell you right now is that Maddie and I have never been happier, not just as a couple, but independently too. I tell people this and I can see this really weird look on their face, and it seems to throw them a bit. It's like I can hear them thinking, that's great, you are happy, but can't you bloody see what's happening? So what I would love for all of us mere mortals, because I think we would all say right now, like, we are just in awe of your attitude and grace at the way you live this.
Yeah.
Can you give us some insight, like some tips, some tricks? What are you doing when you wake up in the day? Are you meditating? Are you going for a walk? Are you forest bathing? Are you watching the sunrise? Are you journaling? Are you just staring into your husband's eyes or giving your children a hug? Like genuinely, I would love to know what lifestyle habits are so sacred for you that give you this muscle to have this belief that other people think is crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look, there's no easy answer there. I started this morning with a bushwalk, but that's not a common thing. We do live on a little bit of land, and we have space, and we're big on outside. And you mentioned the birds, that's a big part of our life, watching the little willy wagtails fly around of a morning. We've been through stages in life where I've journaled. I don't have any. I can't give you anything definitive, but I guess meditation's definitely there for both of us. And it sounds so corny, but it's just love and that gratitude. You look around and you just think we are so lucky. And I think if you just keep telling yourself that, eventually you just believe it, and we feed off it. And we were kind of like that before any of this happened. So I think gratitude's always been huge for both of us. And, you look at all the, when I read your book, and I'm like, I've done a lot of this over the years, and I've sort of gone through analysing different parts of my body, different parts of our lives. And I always think another analogy about when you look at all the, different areas of your life, and I think back to the circus lady that has the little plates that spin on her hands, and they all have to be spinning, to stay up, because if one falls, they're all going to fall. And so when this sort of happened with Matt, I was like, how do we keep the plate spinning? What is it that we need to focus on now? Because, neither of us have a job now, and so, finance is going to be a problem, and, obviously health's a huge problem. And, I was like, how does this happen? And I think if you spin some of the plates even harder, so, when you look at, that connection and love and your relationships, if they're spinning so hard, you've got so much momentum that the rest will just keep spinning. And it's like I grappled with that for so long because I wanted that balance, and I wanted to work out how, what could we do to make this work? And I honestly think that's what it is. I think that, if you increase other areas and you keep those plates spinning, there's so much momentum that it will just keep happening. So I can't give you a really easy answer as to what it is. There's no key apart from the fact that we're absolutely grateful for what we've got. And we talk about that a lot as a family, and the kids are on board with it, and they'll tell you every day how lucky they are, and they never for 1 minute, would look at their situation and think, poor me. We don't have time for that. No stinking thinking around here. It's just basically, we're just grateful. We're just really happy, and we're really grateful.
Seriously, unbelievable. Because I'm going to tell you now, I've got stinking thinking. I'm sick of this lockdown. I could moan and gripe and bitch about what's going on. And now I'm listening to you and I'm a bit embarrassed. I have to tell you, I'm embarrassed, Bianca.
Me too.
You have, for want of a better phrase, manned up. You've actually done a great job at nailing what resilience is, mastering the art of hope. You've embrace positivity, but in a way that's not, it appears that it's not the seesaw ride that could be the reflection of negativity. You seem to have nailed it. And I'm so grateful actually that we did this interview, because I didn't know where this was going to go. But I'm so happy that we've done this interview with you, just to even plant the seed of gratitude for people, and to plant the seed of hope for people.
Yeah, I think resilience is a big one too. You just mentioned that, but the kids and I have done a few little sessions at the local schools, and we've had like lemonade days, and we obviously educate the kids on MND, but a huge part of it is about resilience. And I think that that's something that I see that a lot of kids these days are lacking. And, it's tough times for everyone. Like, there's no sugarcoating it, and it's totally fine to feel frustrated and, but as I said, like, our life is a bit of a lockdown, so it kind of doesn't affect us as much. But resilience is huge, and I think that that's something that you really need to train yourself. It's not. I guess I feel like I've got a little bit of it naturally in me, but I can see that it's not something that comes natural to a lot of people, and I think that that's a huge thing with the children, that we talk about resilience all the time. So.
Well, it's been an inspirational conversation, and I know people are going to want more. So I'm going to promise right here on this episode that we're going to do a follow-up interview.
Yeah.
And check in with you.
If that's okay with you, Bianca.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd be stoked.
Will you come back on?
Actually, if that's okay. I'm going to ask permission. But more than anything, we would love the 100 Not Out community to support the Lemonade Crew. All you do is go to lemonadecrew.com. There's merch. There's more merch that you can poke a stick at. If you think the MND beanie is good, which you can buy at lemonadecrew.com, I'm going to get a grey hoodie, and maybe that makes some Lemonade grey long sleeve, which is on sale at the moment, $28.50.
We've got 25% off hoodies and long sleeve shirts at the moment.
A couple of caps in there, even some baby gear. Oh, my kids are getting older now, but there's some great merch in there. Support the Lemonade Crew. Make lemonade out of lemons, and you have shown us that in spades today, Bianca. Follow these guys on Instagram and Facebook, but more than anything, like, hand over your hard-earned, support them financially, give them a great show of faith in what they're doing, because you've inspired us no end. And I think, as Damo and I both said, like, you've given us a really good dose of reality, and we thank you for it. And I reckon probably our listeners and viewers as well today. So, sure. Bianca, thank you so much. And I'm going to say this. When I inscribed your book to your family, it was probably the hardest time, and I don't know if I said it in the inscription, it was the hardest time I've ever said, may the rest of your life be the best of your life, because given what you're going through, I find it really difficult to have that belief. But having interviewed you and spoken with you now, you have inspired me to own my message even more. And I'm sure Damo as well is thinking the same thing about his message as well. And I would just want to remind you how inspiring you are. And for everyone listening, you don't have to be world famous to be inspiring. You don't need 1 million people on Instagram to be an inspiration. And thank you for your message. And Maddie,
I read that yesterday to Maddie, the little piece that you wrote in the book, which we're very grateful for. Thank you. And I was explaining to him how that's, what that your token thing that you say each time, and what you'd written. And he's like, when I said, may the rest of your life be the best of your life, he looked and he was like, yeah, it is, totally is. Like, it's just no doubt, 100%. So Legend. Thank you.
Legend.
Wow.
Legend.
And I know that your book will inspire so many other people. So.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you for your time. We're going to do this again, folks, but up until then, make sure you head on over to lemonadecrew.com. For more of Damo's wisdom, head on over to DamienChristoff.com, myself, MarcusPearce.com.au. Damo, thank you for your insight as always.
Piercy, thank you so much for organising this. And if you didn't write this book, Bianca wouldn't be here today. So thank you for writing that book. And if you haven't got a copy of Marcus's book, please bloody go buy one, will you? Because it's saving lives out there, and it's making people's rest of their life the best of their life. So please get on it.
Well, we didn't say that Bianca has been a long-time listener of the podcast, which we are very grateful for, because it does remind us that people listen. Yes. We are over 1 million downloads, but it is really nice to get these doses of listener feedback. So if you're listening, let us know. We love it. We're like Labradors. We need to know.
Rub our belly.
People are listening.
Yes.
That is it for this edition of 100 Not Out. Until next week, folks. May the rest of your life be the best of your life.
Bye for now. I'm a golden retriever, not a Labrador. You eat everything.
I'm a bulldog. Oh, dear. All right.
Love it.
Thanks, Facebook. Don't go anywhere, Bianca, but we'll say farewell to Facebook, because I know, Damo, you've got to hit the road.
I do. See you later, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
See you, Facebook.
Bye.